How do you take seedlings that have been broadcast sown in a pot like this to their own cells? A lot of you have asked, and today we're doing a quick video on how you prick out seedlings to put them into their own pots. So the way I judge when a seedling is ready to move out of its broadcast sown container into a cell varies a little bit depending on a few factors, including how many seeds I have put in the container. The more seeds you put in your small container, the sooner you'll probably have to move them on because room's going to get kind of tight in there. I usually look for seedlings to sort of stop growing, to sort of stop making progress. And that's a pretty good indication that they need to move on. You know, it used to say that when you saw roots coming out the bottom, that's a sign. It certainly is a sign, but I wouldn't look for that because I guarantee you this pot is full of big roots. You're not going to believe what comes out of this. And there is no sign of roots coming out the bottom yet. For some of them, that will mean before you even see first leaves. Not always. Usually you're seeing at least the hint of their first true leaves coming on, but sometimes you might have to move them on sooner. So these snapdragons right here have not been doing much lately. They've just kind of paused. So that's how I know it's time to move these on. Even though I think these are still very small looking, I think it's time to get them into their own cells. So the first seedlings we're moving on are these Black Forest Ruby Dahlia seedlings, which are looking great. So those are going to go into this tray, which is just regular potting mix that I'm going to put a hole in the center. I have lightly pushed this down a little bit just to compact this a little so that there's not big air holes in it. So the easiest way to do this is to actually, rather than pick out individual seedlings, which you certainly can, I use this Sneebor tool for this. There are about 40 different things you can come up with that you probably have in your house or your kitchen already that do this same thing, so feel free to get creative. I just have this and I like this tool a lot, so I use it. I find it easiest though, rather than picking out individual seedlings, to dump the whole pot out. So hopefully you can see all these little roots on here. Then you can just kind of drop it. So this is where I take my little tool and I just sort of gently pull that out. When you lift a seedling, always grab it by a leaf, never the stem. Leaves are replaceable, stems are not. You can see how many roots this had, quite a few. Sometimes you have to kind of shake a little bit to loosen them up. Here's a couple together. Once again, you can see there's a nice big chunk of roots on there. As you can see, the roots are so long on here that this is probably a good sign that these should have actually been potted up some time ago. But they will recover just fine. But like I said, there were no roots coming out the bottom of that pot. So don't use that as an indicator. Oh, there's two here. Hold on. There we go. Don't use that as an indicator that it's time to pot on because you might very well miss it. Now we're going to do these two pots of snapdragons, two different kinds. This is double shot yellow red heart. Once again, you can see there's a fair amount of roots there. And I just feel like a little drop kind of helps separate them a little bit. Now these stems are a little thinner and a little bit more fragile than the dahlia ones were. So I'm just going to be a little bit gentler with them. This tray is about 1 inch by 1 inch, or maybe a little bit more than 1 inch for each cell. And these will have to get potted up another time before they go outside. All right, that is how you prick out seedlings. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually kind of fun to do and a little bit cathartic. But if you have questions, leave them in the comments and I will answer them either there or in a future video. Good luck with your seedlings. Have a great day in your garden. Bye-bye.